Sheamus versus Randy Orton. Shut up and take my money. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your September 7th Raw review. Yeah, didn't think I was actually going to do one this week because, as I said, I don't think Raw reviews are going to be every week from now on. But this was a fun little show, and it's Labor Day. Happy long weekend to if you are in a place that's celebrating a long weekend, which is, I think, Canada, the States. If you live anywhere else, I really don't know. So if you don't live in a place where we just finished having a very nice long weekend, happy day for reasons, I guess. Yeah, here we got Monday off, long weekend. Super fucking hot long weekend where I didn't do much of a damn thing. But isn't that what vacation is for? Watching the pre-show, we knew a couple different... Okay. Before I get to even the Raw pre-show, can I just have a couple of seconds to say how fucking creepy it is that the Bella Twins' mom is marrying John Laurinaitis? If there was ever a reason to hashtag I got nothing, this is it. Isn't it? So now, whereas before we would have blamed Nikki Bella's push on John Cena, we're just gonna blame Nikki Bella's push on a different John now, which is all sorts of creepy. But watching the pre-show, we get a couple of things. We get reminded that Edge and Christian are going to be on Austin's podcast tonight, which is a precursor to say they're probably going to be on Raw. We get a very interesting confrontation between Cesaro and The Miz, where Miz wants to be the representative or help Cesaro go up to that next level. He's being all condescending and whatever. It ends up with Cesaro crushing his hand, making my boy The Miz look like quite the bitch, and they're going to have a match later on tonight on Raw, which is fine. They announce officially what we've been hearing all week, which is the new and improved Wyatts, including Braun Strowman, are going to take on Ambrose, Reigns, and the mystery partner. Oh, maybe we're going to find out on Raw tonight who the mystery partner is. Everybody who's anybody all over Facebook, all over Twitter, knows that somebody fucked up at WWE.com and put the actual finalized match graphic up on the website there for a little bit, and that it's going to be Baron Corbin, which, it works for me. I know it doesn't work for a lot of other people, but whatever. But the main talking point of the pre-show is that we're going to get Paige versus Sasha Banks. So, all those people that were like, oh, you know, the loss last week to Sasha Banks is gonna just tear apart PCB and roddy. Why would they do Paige versus Sasha Banks? Oh, I don't know, because Sasha Banks is the one that screwed her over. So for at least 1 week, I'm only counting this week, for at least 1 week, y'all were wrong, and I was right, and I said y'all for reasons. But we start off the show, big surprise, with my boy Seth Rollins, talking about how he's special, which in and of itself leaves himself open to a lot of mockery. Does the typical Seth Rollins thing, run down all his accomplishments, starts talking about the Sting and statue drama. Now here's where I have a problem. Sorry, it's hot, and I'm going to dehydrate through this video, and I'm probably going to end up with quite a shiny forehead by the end of this video, so sorry for that in advance if you're watching as opposed to just listening. I have a problem with this statue thing. I get it. He's a heel. He's supposed to worry about petty things like recognition and gifts and all those sorts of things. You know, how many times have we seen a superstar becomes champion, he gets a big sports car, roddy. He got the statue, and it's all good, and it's his thing from Triple H. It means he's been accepted by Mommy and Daddy McMahon, or however you want to say it. I get why it's there. I get that it's a plot point. I get that it's a plot prop. But worrying more about the statue than the fact that this guy's trying to take your title away, does that not make the title feel fucking useless? Not only that, he should be doubly concerned that Sting is the guy that's going to try and take his title after he's already had a match at Night of Champions. So obviously he starts talking about the Sting and the statue drama and all that. We get a "We Want Sting" chant. He complains about having to work double duty at Night of Champions. And from here until the promo is over, we get a loud, boring chant. I think they were in Baltimore tonight. I'm not sure, but I think they were in Baltimore tonight. He says, "This is my year. Night of Champions is my night. I'm going to beat 2 first ballot Hall of Famers in one night," which is terrifying because it means we're already talking about John Cena in the Hall of Fame realm. Sting shows up on the Titantron. You know, he kind of does a jump scare like the Wyatts do with that like scream thing that they do, except it's with the crow and you see the bird flash up and then you see him up there on the Titantron and he's in some dark place and you don't know where it is. What it reminds me of is anytime that anybody's ever stolen a belt or stolen a prop or whatever and they've been standing on a bridge and they've thrown it out into the water somewhere. Long Island Sound is a prime example where the I don't know what belt. Was it the Smoking Skull belt that got thrown into the Long Island Sound? That's another story for another day. But it's all dark behind Sting, so all you see is the light on Sting. And on the statue, he says, you know, "I'm out here somewhere. I haven't really stolen it. It's right here. Come get it if you want it." He's going running up the ramp to go find Sting, and he's cut off by Sheamus. And he says, "You look like an idiot, and you look like you're agitated. You look pretty damn dumb, worrying about these 2 matches going into Night of Champions, and you're more worried about your statue. Here's one more thing for you to worry about. You might have 3 matches at Night of Champions," which is fine. They both tell each other they look stupid, which makes Rollins momentarily face, because the crowd basically agrees with Rollins and says that Sheamus looks dumb. I don't know how this is supposed to really... There's nothing that's going to get me invested in a Rollins-Sheamus feud. They need to have him cash in, fail, and go back to the mid-card where he belongs. We come back from the break, though, and we have Rollins in the Authority. Why? Why? Gotta go back to the old school ways of doing videos. Fuck off, I'm doing a vid. Still not getting the t-shirts made, but it still works. Rollins is in the back talking to Stephanie McMahon, asking where Triple H is. And she says, "Well, why don't you listen to me? Why don't you listen to some of my solutions, whatever?" And he says, "No, I really want to talk to Triple H." Triple H is behind him. Triple H says, "Don't worry about Sheamus tonight. Sheamus is facing Orton tonight." And you can hear, I don't know if you can feel it, hear it, whatever. If you can hear Facebook and Twitter sighing, I think I heard that tonight. If you, like, they're in the back so you don't necessarily hear the crowd, but you can hear the crowd go dead. I myself get deflated, and I'll get that later on. But literally, Facebook took a Tylenol. Twitter took an Advil as soon as those words were out of Triple H's mouth. But don't worry, that leads to something better later on. And he says to Rollins, since you're so concerned about working double duty at Night of Champions, I'm going to get you warmed up. I'm going to have you work double duty tonight. Your first match is going to be champion versus champion. It's going to be you versus the Intercontinental Champion, Ryback. Which concerns me, because you know the way to get a title shot at somebody is to beat them in a non-title match. So this means either, if you follow WWE, obviously they didn't do this, but if you follow WWE logic, if Rollins beats Ryback here, he's now the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, which, if you follow that idea to its penultimate end, you get Rollins with 3 belts instead of 2, which, I mean, if you really want to put the entire WWE engine behind this guy, would be a wonderful idea. The flip side and the scary idea behind this is, if you follow that frame of mind, that terminology, that structure that WWE has told us over the years, if Ryback beats Rollins, then Ryback is now the #1 contender for both the US and the world title. So Ryback going off with all the belts is, I'm sure, something everybody wants to see. He says, your next match and the main event tonight will be a champions versus challengers match with Rollins and the New Day versus Primetime Players and John Cena. Now, immediately I thought of when Cena had a borderline kind of partnership with Crime Time for a little while. CTC, PTP, and all that sort of thing. Not a main event that fills me with a lot of hope, because everybody that I care about is on one side of the match. I don't care about the Primetime Players, and I'm definitely not going to care about what we get with the Primetime Players later on tonight. And out of John Cena and Seth Rollins, I'd still rather see Seth Rollins with the belt. There we go. Literally, the match I was looking forward to all night came on first, which was Paige with her PCB partners versus Sasha Banks, and obviously, unfortunately, that means Naomi is in the building. Sasha tries to bail right away. They grapple in the ropes. Paige gets her with a veil by the hair twice, and then she does this weird hit the ropes clothesline thing because she throws Sasha towards the ropes, and then she runs towards the ropes faster than Sasha and holds them so that when Sasha hits the ropes, they don't rebound, and she basically ends up hitting her in the face with the ropes. There's no good way, there's no name for that. It was just a really nice spot. Faceplant by Paige and the corner. Faceplant by Paige and the rotating elbows in the corner. Double knee drop in the corner by Sasha like she does as we go to commercial break. Sasha locks in a straitjacket choke as we come back from the commercial break with a post in the back. It's great. The divas and the submissions, just in general, cross the board. Nobody's going to give the Bellas credit, but yes, cross the board. Submission wrestling is really finding a foothold in the divas division, which is nice. Paige with a Thez press and mounted punches, a high choke in the corner by Sasha, and a choke on the second rope by Sasha, allowing for a cheap shot by Tamina. Tamina earned her paycheck this week by slapping Paige in the face once. Oh yes. Sasha throws Paige's head at the ground. There's no other way to say it. Just has her by the back of the head and throws her face at the ground. It's fucking great. I am a Paige fan. I am a Becky Lynch fan, but I will not deny the greatness of Sasha Banks. Don't get me wrong. Back to the posted straitjacket choke again, working the arms, working the mid back and all that sort of thing. Leg sweep off the second turnbuckle by Sasha. Paige was going up for a second rope something and got tripped off, which is great. Sasha eats turnbuckle. Paige hits a high knee in the corner and a super kick as Sasha stumbles out. Rampage fails and Sasha bails. Paige hits an apron cannonball off a running. This is what happens when your writing sucks. I have a TiVo thing. I can pause TV and write better notes, but my writing, if I show you this, my writing still fucking sucks, guys. And you guys watch my videos, so that's a thing. Paige hits a running cannonball off the apron onto Tamina. Wheelbarrow overhead suplex by Paige. Not only is really, really impressive, but gets a "this is awesome" chant from the crowd. Naomi distracts and there's some bullshit on the other side. Quick roll up, Sasha Banks gets the win. This pisses me off for a lot of reasons, and it's not because Paige didn't win. Paige is my girl, obviously, along with Becky Lynch. I don't mind that she lost here. This was a fantastic match. If you were going to give the win to Sasha Banks and push Sasha Banks, that's fine, but it's Naomi's bullshit that got the win. This didn't help anybody. Sasha proved that she can't win on her own, which is crap, because we know she can. Paige was the victim of that Sasha not winning on her own. It's crap, because this was, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this, and I know I say this at the end of a lot of NXT shows, this was the best match of the night. That's not to say that everything else I'm going to talk about later on was necessarily bad, but this was the best match of the night, folks. Shitty that it went on first, everything kind of goes downhill, but it wouldn't have hurt. I wouldn't have cared if Paige lost. This isn't a matter of me being biased and not wanting Paige to ever lose and, whatever else, some of you out there say about me. So I would have been more than happy. A loss isn't going to help, a loss isn't going to hurt Paige, and it's going to do an unwilling number of good for Sasha, which is what we all want. But, Naomi is a thing. Naomi is why we can't have nice things. That's just what it is. Next up, we have the Ascension versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, which could have been a good thing for the Ascension if their opponents weren't Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, let's be real. Connor and Ambrose start out. Ambrose locks on a side headlock and a flying elbow. Boots by Ambrose, flying clothesline by Reigns. Ascension double team Roman in the corner for a little bit. It is rather impressive. Samoan drop to Victor by Roman. Suicide dive on Connor by Ambrose. Drive by on Victor by Roman. Some sort of awkward throw and a corner 10 punch by Roman. Superman punch and a doomsday device on Victor, which is nice, and even the even the commentators, that's the word I'm looking for, made a big throwback to the LOD, mentioned the Road Warriors, which is funny because with the Dudley Boys being back, the Dudley Boys have also been known to do the Doomsday device, which is great. And you've got the Ascension in there who a while ago were mocking the old tag team. So there's a million reasons to throw this back to the Legion of Doom, and, a little bit of respect, if nothing else, right? Spear to Connor, dirty deeds to Victor, and Ambrose and Roman Reigns get the win. We get a creepy promo from the Wyatts on the Tron, which I thought was going to be Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns' opportunity to introduce Baron Corbin, but that didn't happen. We recap all the bullshit between Ziggler, Lana, Rusev, and I wrote Ziggler, Lana, Rusev, and Lana. That's what I did. That's what I wrote right there. because I'm just that special sometimes. Ziggler, Lana, Rusev, and Summer is what I meant to say. I don't like the way they did this. WWE always does great video packages, don't get me wrong. But the way they did this one, and it was done well, but I don't like what they did. They made it sound like a tabloid thing. They made it sound like a Entertainment Canada, Entertainment Tonight type thing, which I don't think did, and I don't think at the end of the day, as fun as this little four-way thing is, I don't think it's going to do anything good at the end of the day for Ziggler and Rusev, which is shitty, because I am enjoying it, because it's so fucking ridiculous that it's making me laugh. So I'm enjoying this thing that's going to bury both of these guys eventually, and Lana is apparently injured, legitimately at a house show or whatever. She did something to her wrist. So, once again, this feud that focuses around the women is going to have one of the women missing. So that's... And I don't know why they did this now, because they continued this story later on in the show and not now. It's fucking hot and I'm rambling, so sorry for that. And I'm going to take another drink. My phone's going off with no sound, but it's still flashing over there. You can't hear it, but it's there. Ryback versus Rollins. First of all, this match was a hell of a lot better than I thought it would be. Second of all, I gotta give props to Ryback. He takes a moment before Rollins comes to the ring, goes to the side, he sees some kid from Make-A-Wish there with his parent or counselor or guardian or whoever. Lets the kid hold his Intercontinental Championship belt for the duration of the match. Here, kid, hold this for me while I go have my match. That's a cool little thing. I wish they would have. They showed him handing the kid the belt. I wish they would have said something about it. I wish they would have. I don't know. Occasionally, when they have like dignitaries in the crowd, oh, we have these people here from Susan Komen. We have these people here from Make-A-Wish. I wish they had taken a moment to recognize that kid was there, because that was a really cool thing. Anyways, Rollins bails to start. Collar and elbow tie-up and gets tossed by Ryback. Shoulder tackle by Ryback, and Rollins bails again. Test of strength, which is bad, puts Rollins on his knees immediately, almost predictably. Already lost in my own writing again. More shoulder tackles by Ryback and finally gets him into the corner for some shoulder thrusts. Ryback rides an armbar, which is interesting because there's no particular part of Ryback's offense that focuses on the arm. So it's interesting psychology for him to work an arm, other than the fact that Rollins has to have another match later on tonight. Both men trade punches and chops. Thez press and mounted punches by Ryback. Ryback works on the arm some more and then just throws him into the back, throws him back into the corner and hits him with some more chops. Delayed, long, and almost like you can see Ryback with a big ass grin on his face. Long, delayed vertical suplex. A jawjacker and mudhole stomps by Rollins. Gorilla press slam by Ryback is just as impressive as the vertical, and Rollins bails again. Ryback eats post and steps on the outside as we go to commercial break. Rollins rides a headlock for a long time, reminding us, as I say every week, the bad guys in WWE are nice bad guys, and they'll always say, here's my headlock, I'm a bad guy. And he follows that up with a hangman, everything working the neck. Again, he doesn't have any moves that really work the neck, other than if you want to extend the psychology a little bit, I guess a knee to the head does work the neck as well. I could follow that line of logic a little bit, but it's a little bit surprising. So both of these guys have had very effective but very unconventional for them bits of psychology. It makes you think. It gets you. It gives the match a bit of a more unpredictable feel. Hey, are they going to end the match a little differently? Is somebody going to whip out a new finisher? That sort of thing. Back body drop by Ryback. More shoulder tackles, and shoulder tackles. Ryback, Biggie Langston, and John Cena tonight, all with the shoulder tackles. Shoulder tackles are on the menu tonight, right beside tricep meat, but we're going to get to there later on. More shoulder tackles, a pedigree fails, and a back body drop by Ryback. Super kick by Rollins, power bomb by Ryback. Ryback misses a top rope splash, which looks awkward, and I really wish he wouldn't do it. Baseball slide by Rollins, and a flying knee. Suicide dive by Rollins, and then the crowd chants one more time, and we get another suicide dive by Rollins, which is great. So there's that as well. Spinebuster by Ryback, and a meat hook enziguri by Rollins, and Sting appears on the Tron once again with the statue. Says, hey, I'm still here. The statue is still here. What are you bothering with that match for? Why don't you come get your statue? Roll up by Ryback. Ryback gets the win. So as I say, by WWE theology right now, Ryback is the #1 contender for both the US and WWE Championship. That's terrifying. we see Sting on the Titantron once again with a mask from WWE Shop, a Sting mask, sorry, from WWE Shop, and he puts it on the Rollins statue, which is fucking great. We have a backstage segment where we achieve a whole lot all at once. We have Rollins coming back through the hallway. He's pissed off. He's, yelling for Sting, screaming for Sting, and he's interrupted by the New Day, who are going to be his partners later on tonight in the main event. They try to pull a Bo Dallas on him. Roddy Rah. You're letting all the negativity get to you. You've got us as your partners tonight. You're gonna win tonight. You're gonna win in the main event. He's got your statue, but you've got us, type thing. And Rollins, he looks behind him, and Edge and Christian are standing there, and it's fucking great. And they say, last time I was here, you used me as leverage on John Cena to bring the Authority back. You put my head down on your Money in the Bank briefcase and threatened to break my neck. Too bad you didn't finish the job. How about we finish it right now? Edge's haircut looks fucking weird, man, because it's not the short thing that he did after he retired. It's not the long hair that he had. It's like he's got, like, buzz cut up to here, and then there's like little things, so he's trying to look intimidating with kind of a funny haircut, but whatever. So Rollins thinks discretion is the better part of valor. He fucks off. Now you got Edge and Christian eyeballing the New Day 3-on-2. Xavier Woods still has the fucking trombone, which is great. Challenges them to a duel, plays a little bit of something on his trombone, and says, we won. He says, no, you didn't win. I didn't get my chance to go yet. Christian pulls out the kazoo. It's fucking great. And they go to attack Edge and Christian 3-on-2. Except behind Edge and Christian are the Dudleys. The Dudleys say that they've talked to the Authority. The Authority have laid out the following. New Day versus the Primetime Players next week on Raw for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The winner and whoever the Tag Team Champions are after that have to go on to Night of Champions to face the Dudleys. So here's the thing. There's a couple things I find funny about this. Whenever somebody comes into a situation and just says, I've spoken to the Authority, this, it's something that benefits the babyfaces. Like, this situation benefits Primetime Players, benefits the Dudleys, but it came from the Authority, who are bad guys. So if the Authority are going to give bad news, they deliver it directly in a promo, whatever. If they're going to do it indirectly, it's just whoever it benefits that announces it, which I think is really, really funny. The other thing I find funny, and yes, I understand that it's the Dudley Boys, and yes, I know that they are head and shoulders above anybody else in the division as far as prestige and history and accomplishments and all that sort of thing. I think it's funny that the challengers for the Tag Team Championships have established their spot at the pay-per-view before we even know who the champions are. I think that's really strange. The only other time that I can think of something like that happening is when somebody wins the Royal Rumble and there's a and there's a title match at Fastlane, No Way Out, Elimination Chamber, whatever. Then you've got the challenger already set for WrestleMania, and then we have to see who the champion is. But it's still very odd, because especially at a show like Night of Champions, would it not be the champion's spot that was guaranteed at the show? Very, very cool. No word of a lie. I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. I just find a couple of things about it a bit strange. But you had New Day and Rollins. You had Rollins and Edge and Christian. You had Edge and Christian and the New Day. You had New Day and the Dudleys, and all the news that goes into next week and the pay-per-view. A lot got... what's the word I'm looking for? A lot got put down in concrete in one little backstage segment, which I think is really great. Summer Rae and Rusev. This is... As I say, I'm laughing my ass off as this storyline goes along, but as far as writing down what actually happened, there's not much. Summer Rae comes out and says the true victim of all this has been Rusev. He's been dragged through the mud and he's been betrayed, and Roddy Rah. He's the one that gave Summer the confidence to be the woman that he wanted her to be, and she shows that she's been in some top men's fitness magazine, whatever. She makes more accusations at Ziggler. Rusev comes out and accepts her apology and says, you didn't do anything wrong. It's all Ziggler. I'm a victim of Ziggler. You're a victim of Ziggler. Hell, even Lana's a victim of Ziggler because he's been spreading his American lies. And they trade off nicknames, and he's calling her Sweet Submissive Summer, and she's calling him Ruru, which I'm pretty sure is going to haunt him a lot. This is going to haunt him like CLB haunted Christian, like Justin Bieber chants are haunting Seth Rollins right now. when Ziggler was a heel and Morrison called him Mr. Ziggles, and that stick around for a while. They got to be careful with somebody like Rusev, because something like that is just going to destroy any intimidating factor he has left. Ziggler comes out here, says, "No one believes you. Roddy, Roddy, Raw. I've got a message from Lana." He throws him the microphone, hits him with a super kick, gives him a little bit of a beatdown, and that's the end of the segment. We see Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Orton talking backstage, which is nice. Sheamus and Orton happens again. And I'm torn, because anybody else that says same old shit to a match like this is gonna play it off like it's bad. I'm not gonna play it off like it's bad. These guys work really well together. These guys have good, consistent, I would say, matches together. But it's just that we've seen it so many times, and now they're putting them out there because they have good matches. But the story is they've fought a bunch of times before, and they're going to fight again. Or they, Randy Orton is Sheamus's punishment for whatever the Authority cooked up this week or whatever. They put them out there because they know they put on consistently good matches. And these guys do put on consistently good matches. It's just that it's very repetitive. It's more 5 moves of doom than a Cena match at this point. There is a good spot at the end. RKO gets countered into a roll-up and gets countered into another RKO for the win for Orton, which is fine. Sheamus gets out of there. The Wyatts surround Orton 3-on-1 and give him a beatdown. These commentators obviously speculate at the commentator table that it's because he was talking to Ambrose and Roman before his match, and this is, going forward with the idea of, oh my god, how are these guys going to find a partner? Anybody that even thinks of partnering with them is going to get a 3-on-1 beatdown. They did the, Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt beat him down outside, fed him to Braun Strowman, who's the only guy actually standing in the ring, which is good. They're spotlighting the new guy. He does that weird choke thing that, apparently puts people out instantly, but he's hugging their chest, so I don't really know how that works. It looks impressive, but if you take a look at it from a logical perspective, which I know you really shouldn't do with wrestling, he does a thing, and then he does that thing, that power move that every big guy that didn't have his own finisher yet has used this at one point or another. Basically throws him over the shoulder and then rolls him off to the floor, and it's not very impressive looking. It's not very, if he's going to use that choke as the setup, he needs something even more impressive to be his finisher. It's not. Don't get me wrong, the guy is impressive. Give him something better. He's already good on the mic, which is great. He's creepy as fuck, which is, as I say, developing into a very big trend in WWE. Yeah, I know he's with the Wyatts, but just in general, I think he's very creepy. If you've listened to any of the collaborations I've done with my friends from the Wrestle Recap Show, we've run down quite a few people that have the rapey vibe. People like Bo Dallas. Braun Strowman is now on that list. Blake and Murphy, definitely. Biggie Langston, I'm sorry, I'm going to get to this later on, but he's getting up there too. There are creepy people in the WWE. So that's the end of that, and my writing sucks, so sorry. Dudley Boys versus Los Matadors goes about as well as you would predict. 3D for the Dudleys. After the win, they focus in on one sign in the crowd that says, "Save a chair, break a table." To which I read it, and instantly in my head, I read the sign to the tune of the song Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, which I'm ashamed to admit to all of you that I'm even familiar with. One Matador blames El Torito, because the other Matador, I don't fuck trying to figure out which one it is. They're identical, it's a thing. It's like the Conquistadors, 1 and 2, or something like that. The one that got the shit kicked out of him is still on the ground in the ring, obviously. The one that didn't blames El Torito for reasons and starts beating up the bull. The Dudleys come back, put him through a table with the second rope powerbomb, and that's about it. I really, and I said this on Twitter, I really hoped that they were going to 3D the bull. It didn't happen. I guess they're in there to destroy everybody, but they're still baby faces by default, aren't they? You don't really know what the Dudley Boys are, and Los Matadors are just there. They're not babyface, they're not heel, they're just there to be punching bags in masks. So other than the Dudley Boys being ridiculously popular and having a hell lot more respect, there really is no face and heel in this match, other than making the save for the bull at the end. It's fine, it's wonderful. I thought we were going to get a run-in by the New Day, but they are busy later on in the night. We announce officially that Ziggler and Rusev are going to fight again at Night of Champions, which I don't know how they're going to do that, because apparently Lana's not going to be there, so I don't know how well that story's going to go. Cesaro versus my boy, The Miz. Miz begs off in the corner before the match even starts. He leans out into the ropes to get a break from the referee so he can take his sunglasses off. The commentators spend the next 5 minutes talking about why Miz wears sunglasses indoors, which bugs me. Front slam and a gut-wrench suplex by Cesaro. Miz rides a headlock for a little bit. Cesaro counters a leapfrog into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker in midair, which is just phenomenal. Post-to-post uppercuts by Cesaro. Miz bails. Cesaro uppercuts Miz into the guardrail with JBL's hat on. Fucking yes. Alright, big boot in a mud hole by The Miz, hits a kitchen sink, and the commentators do a good job now talking about how Cesaro injured his ribs last week, falling out of the ring, etc., and that Miz is actually putting forth some decent psychology. Miz chokes on the ropes and hits him with another boot. Boot by Cesaro, baseball slide into the ribs by The Miz. Cesaro eats guardrail twice, which is great, but Big Show comes down and chases away the Miz. Not The Wiz, that's totally different. That's Kevin Nash about 100 years ago. The Miz gets chased away by the Big Show. Cesaro wins by countout. KO punch to Cesaro as he's going up the ramp. Nobody wins here. This is like the ending of the Divas match. My boy is The Miz. This is the same thing where I have to say it's not just because my boy lost. I don't care. The Miz right now is great in his job. He goes out there. He's an asshole. He's just enough of an asshole that you want to see him get his ass kicked. And when he gets his ass kicked, it's glorious. That is his job in the WWE right now, which is fine. My problem is not that Cesaro beat The Miz, because of course Cesaro is going to beat The Miz. But The Miz was actually, for the first time in a little while, putting on a really decent match with some really great psychology, a really great story being told. He knows his opponent has a weakness. He's got the ribs from a previous week, from a previous injury. It was good. So that when Cesaro won, he overcame the sneaky bad guy, ultimate opportunist, to borrow a phrase from Edge, heel, taking out his disadvantage. Superman overcame Lex Luthor having kryptonite, that kind of idea. But it got taken away. So all Miz's good heel work got taken away by the Big Show, who's not going to get a face pop because people don't give a shit, and Cesaro wins because he had a 500-pound helper. Nobody wins. Again, second time. This was a good match. I know. It's against YWC rulebook to give Miz any credit, but he gave Cesaro a good match today. Just the same as the Divas match at the beginning of the show was a good match. Great match, first match of the night was a great match. This was a good match. Both of them ruined by a shit ending. Big Show and Naomi. Fuck off. Moving on. The Bellas come out, and Nikki brags about the record that she almost holds. She brings out the Bellatron again, which is fucking golden. Talks about next week when she breaks the record, it's gonna be a Bellabration. They're gonna, champagne's gonna be popping, music's gonna be rocking, rah. Team PCB comes out as a collective unit, which is great. They come out to Charlotte's music because whatever, she's the one that's going to be going for the championship. I wish it was Becky, but that's another story for another day. Hey, we love a party too. How come we weren't invited? I'm gonna have to spoil your party. I just talked to the Authority. Here you go. Authority helping out babyfaces. Authority, when they're helping out the babyfaces, are nowhere in sight. So the Authority has moved Charlotte's title shot to next week. So the title and Nikki Bella's what was I going to say there? The title and Nikki Bella's record are both on the line next week. They made a big deal again this year about next week being the season premiere. I guess it's to do with school and football, and I don't really care, to be perfectly honest. So she says, I'm gonna cut off your record. I'm gonna get your title. Rah. I don't know where that leaves us for Night of Champions. I really don't. But Paige and Becky attack Brie and Alicia Fox, get them out of the ring, leaving Nikki and Charlotte in the ring. A spear and a figure eight by Charlotte, and that ends the segment because Nikki's on her back, and people will make jokes, I'm sure. Whoa. Did that way too soon. See. 1 minute, guys. Did that way too soon. Pulling things off the Doomy clipboard of Doom. What can I say about the main event? Cena and the Primetime Players versus Rollins and the New Day. The New Day, or sorry, the heel team stand in one corner at the beginning of this match, holding up, among the four of them, 4 belts and a trombone. Which, for some reason, is a really fucking awesome visual. It really is. Big E starts in the match with Cena. He starts the match by clapping at Cena, which is great. Collar and elbow tie up and a headlock by Big E, shoulder tackle and a creepy dance by Big E. Stiff collar and elbow tie up, which leads our boy Xavier Woods on the outside to go into his rambling, ranting, selling barrage about the tricep meat, which is funny for reasons I can't even explain. Headlock and a tackle by Big E and another headlock. Shoulder by Cena, but a slam by Big E. So Cena's trying a bunch of stuff and not getting anything in. It's good. Rollins in with a mudhole stomp on Cena, but New Day takes over with their patented rotating mudhole on Cena while Rollins just kind of look at them being like, what the fuck, and then sees what they're doing and just kind of lets him do whatever it is. And then Big E basically slingshots Xavier. I can speak, I swear. Big E slingshots Kofi Kingston into Cena with 2 boots to Cena sitting in the corner. Kofi rides a headlock to remind us that he's a bad guy. And Xavier Woods goes on a little bit of his tirade that I absolutely love. Look at the sad John Cena exhibiting hustle, loyalty, and give up, which is fucking wonderful. SOS by Kofi, and Cena tosses Big E out of the ring. Top rope knee by Rollins and a mudhole and a choke by Big E. Another creepy dance and a side slam by Big E. He's got him up in the side slam position. This is John Cena. Big E's a big guy, don't get me wrong. John Cena is bigger than Big E. Big E's got him in the side slam position, just gyrating away, and it's very, very creepy. Creepy, gyrating vertical suplex by Big E Langston. Big E misses a running splash. The big guys shouldn't do the splashes. Big E, you should have looked at Ryback earlier in the night. Big guys go for splashes. It never works. Titus tags in and kills everybody. That's just a thing. Young back suplexes Rollins on the apron edge like he does. Young gives a gut wrench to Xavier Woods on the outside, who's not even in the match, just for good measure. Belly to belly by Big E on Titus. Cena and Rollins both tag in. Pedigree is countered into an STF. Kofi tries a crossbody on Cena, and you know where that goes. Roll through, attitude adjustment. Cena and the Primetime Players get the win. This was a fun little match, mostly because of Big E and his creepy gyrating. He's been watching WWE Network too much. I think he stopped on the, biography of Val Venus, because that's the only way that any of this makes sense. We see Sting one more time in the back in his dark little area, and he says, can I please have the lights on? You turn the lights on and you see that he's in the parking area, which is fine until you realize that the vehicle behind him is a trash compactor, and he gives off the name of the company, so I guess Cheap Pop for whatever the local, I think it was like Maple Ridge Trash Compactor or something like that, and he teases and teases and teases and finally pushes the statue into the trash compactor. It gets crushed. Rollins goes fucking apeshit, grabs his belts. He's shaking the belts over his head. He's all pissed. He's still got his championships. Even JBL's like, he's only got those belts till the next pay-per-view. And Byron Saxton has the line of the fucking night. I can't believe I'm saying this, when he says, well, if all else fails, at least Seth Rollins now knows where his statue is. It's fucking good. Okay. So what have we got? We've got a 3-on-3 match for Night of Champions. We've got Rollins versus, we've got Ziggler versus Rusev, again, which we knew about. We got Rollins working double duty. Somebody's going to go for the IC title. Oh, when Ryback was interviewed early on in the night, he had a little face-to-face with Kevin Owens. So if we see Kevin Owens and Ryback going forward, that could be a thing. Going into Night of Champions, we know what the Divas are doing. That's going to be on Raw. And then the rollover from that will go to the pay-per-view. We've got the tag team situation already on lock with the Primetime Players and New Day going at it next week, and the winner facing the Dudleys at the pay-per-view. We've already got a pretty decent card, guys. This is exciting. This wasn't the best show, but there wasn't anything on here other than Orton Sheamus, which, I gotta give you guys. I try to be positive about the show. I try to be positive and say that these guys do put on good matches. These guys have good in-ring chemistry. They know each other. They put on great matches. But all the time. So I will secede on the Orton Sheamus issue. But everything else is fucking on point. They gave us Paige versus Sasha Banks, which is a rivalry I want to see going forward. Even if that rivalry doesn't touch the title at all, we can have Nikki versus Charlotte fighting over the belt over here. We could have Paige versus Sasha over here. We could have Becky Lynch taking on somebody. There's nothing to say that every Divas feud has to be tag teams, and there's nothing to say that every Divas feud has to be over the belt. Look at what Lana and Summer Rae are doing, except for the fact that Lana's injured, and rah. There's a lot going on, and I'm rambling, and it's super fucking hot, even though it's ridiculous o'clock in the morning. But, I had fun with this Raw. I thought it was great. Was everything on this show 5 stars? No. Did we have some good shows that were ruined by some... did we have some good matches that were ruined by some shitty endings? Oh, absolutely. And I'm as frustrated with that as you guys are. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we got some great matches tonight. We got some great long matches tonight. We got Cesaro... Okay, here's the thing. You all don't like The Miz. We got a good match out of The Miz tonight. This is a good thing. John Cena got his ass handed to him in the main event. Okay, he won. I get that. But he held up. He basically did the whole match against the other 3 guys. And Primetime Players spent 90% of that match in the corner. So Cena had a good night. Rollins pulled double duty. The Dudleys just destroyed the Matadors, which is fine. It was a fun show. They're not all going to be 5 stars. They're not all going to be pay-per-view quality Raws. And I'm not saying that this is, but this was a good show. It really was. I had a lot of fun. Hope you did too. Anyways, I'm going to go upload this. I'm going to go over there and watch the Edge and Christian on the podcast. And I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. What are you excited about going into Night of Champions? Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.